talking in Washington about the safety net and the cargo net, and that Australia's welfare system, I presume you're saying, is already becoming a cargo net in some cases. Is that correct?
Well, that's the danger. The danger is that we have too many people fall into a reliance on government payments without the capacity to bounce back up and bounce away from relying on the government and being able to rely on themselves. Now, obviously, we've got to have a sustainable welfare system, and there is a serious question as to whether our current welfare system, which was designed in the 20th century, is sustainable in the 21st century when we have significant demographic challenges and when we're facing enormous competition for products and services in the global marketplace. And
you've raised the issue of pensions. What are you looking at there? Are you looking at attacking the rate of the pension, or is it about eligibility? Is it about an assets test? What are the options?
We're looking. I'm simply raising the issue that we need to have a sensible discussion about the sustainability of our entire quality of life. It's not just pensions and the sustainability of pensions, but it's our healthcare, the quality of our education. It's right across the board, Barry, that we now need to have a sensible discussion about the quality of life that we want to have into the future.
You talk about at what age people should retire. Is it time to say to people your age, not mine, but people your age, that maybe by the time they retire, the retirement age might be 70, for example?
Well, that's certainly one of the issues that needs to be addressed, and it will affect my generation. It will affect my generation. This doesn't happen overnight, but it may be the case that my generation has to work for an extra 3 years. And don't forget that the Labor Party increased the retirement age from 65 to 67 from 2023-24. And the fact is that now, as in the United Kingdom, it's probably the case in Australia, that 1 in every 3 children born today will live to 100. So, quite frankly, we need to redesign our systems to manage the fact and celebrate the fact that we're all living longer and we want to maintain a good quality of life along the way.
And 70 longer term is not an unrealistic age.
Well, other countries have moved in that direction, the United Kingdom and a number of other countries, because how good is it, Barry? We're all living longer. But the fact is that if we're living longer, we need to have a health and welfare system that appropriately deals with the changing demographics of the nation.
And of people aged over 65 with $1 million in assets, 80% of them collect an age pension. Again, is that something you should be looking at?
Well, it's something that we need to discuss, and we are discussing with the nation. And I welcome the fact that National Seniors, which is a major representative group of senior Australians, has recognised that we need to have a mature debate about the sustainability of our pension system and our aged care system. This is not a battle between the generations. This is about the quality of life that we not only want to live ourselves, but what we want to leave to our children. And Australia's been blessed. We've had, for a lot of good reasons, 22 years of continuous economic growth. It's not an accident. It's come about because of hard work. That's one of the longest periods of economic growth in global history. And the fact is, you can't bank that that's going to happen for another 22 years. So how are we going to design an economy that is going to sustain us through the difficult times and deliver us benefits through the good times? And that's what we are dealing with right now.
You mentioned the National Seniors, and they have come out with quite a conciliatory statement, but they did say they would support some adjustments, but they want to see parental leave scheme trimmed as well. Otherwise, you'd be pitting one generation against another. So you see, once again, the parental leave scheme comes up.
Well, the parental leave scheme is about getting people back to work so that they can pay for the pensions of tomorrow. That's what the parental leave scheme is about. It is about people going back to work, earning money, paying tax, and being able to afford the pension system and the aged care system and the health system that senior Australians and others want to have. You know, Barry, my parents often say to me, we worked hard all our life, to be, we paid taxes all our life and we deserve to have entitlements now. I say, yes, you do. But the problem is everything you earned during your life is gone. There is no money left in the bank. In fact, if we don't fix the budget now, we're going to end up with $667 billion of debt. And therefore, we need to fix the budget now, not only to maintain what you have now, but importantly, to give everyone else a chance that follows to have a decent quality of life.
The one concern to pensioners, though, I guess, would be about the rate of the pension. It's linked now to a percentage of male average weekly earnings. If it was linked to the CPI, that might mean real cuts. Are you considering linking it to the CPI, or are you considering perhaps getting rid of indexation altogether?
Well, I'm not going to speculate on the budget, but I just note something interesting that I found out over here. Over the last 40 years, 60% of male workers in the United States have had a real cut in their incomes. A real cut in their incomes. In Australia, we've been the beneficiary of having real income increases. Now, the pension is attached to male total average weekly earnings, which is a higher rate, but it's not always going to remain a higher rate. So we have to look at how sustainable pension increases are. But whatever the case, Barry, the budget is not going to target any one particular group. Every Australian is going to be asked to contribute to the budget repair, including politicians. Everyone is going to be asked to contribute to the budget repair, and it's going to be as fair an ask as is possible under the circumstances.
So you're absolutely determined, starting with this budget, that the age of entitlements, as we've known it, has to go?
We have no choice, Barry. There are no choices here. This is about the sustainability of our quality of life. It is about what we want to be in 5, 10, 20 years' time. And I often ask myself, if there's a drug that's going to save my child's life in 10 years' time, and I couldn't afford it, I would expect the government to help me out. Now, in 10 years' time, is the government going to have the money to be able to afford that drug? They might have it today, but they won't have it tomorrow unless we actually start fixing the budget now. And if we fix it early, then the contribution everyone makes is going to be far less over time than trying to have remedial action down the track.
Treasurer, thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
Thanks very much, Barry.